pieces. This blog was going to be entitled "Yes, Writers Are Your BTS," mostly because though I don't believe that, I also believe stating so and so is not your BTCH is incomplete. Relationships between writers and fans are not that simple. But because relationships between writers and fans are not that simple, and because I have in the past ran across a couple of unhinged ones, I thought I'd better not get too playful. To go right to the heart of the matter, no, writers are not, technically, they're fansloves. You can't tell us write this one. Now write that one. Now do it faster and with putting on your head. On the other hand, readers are also not the returslovs. No matter how dedicated a fan is or how much he loves a series, he's going to get tired of waiting for the next book, a verity I'm quite aware of as I juggle 4 series. He's going to get upset when your character gets a personality transplant in book 10. He's going to get mad at you when you announce you're not going to write his favorite series anymore, and instead are going to start a new one in this last case, though please check with the author, before badmouthing him her far and wide. Chances are she was a victim of real or imaginary computer numbers. Imaginary, you say. Look, it's computers. If there isn't a kink in the program somewhere, I'll eat their circuits. It's hard to believe a series with enough distribution to elicit death threats when stopped doesn't have enough fans to keep going. And yet, I've seen it. What's more, fans have a right to be upset, even if they don't have the right to send death threats. As both a reader and a writer, what a writer contracts for is selling more than a few hundred pages of words. A writer sells worlds. A writer sells lives. A writer sells imagination that is not contained in the reader's head, but which the reader does end up owning, and making his own by the process of reading and reimagining. It is that process of owning that creates fans as opposed to just readers, and makes them go out and hand sell the book everywhere. And it gives them fractional ownership in the writer's imagination. And the writer, who makes a living from having enough fans to do this, cannot complain. He or she might not like it, but it's what she signed up for. So am I saying that from now on when one of you wails that you want another book in let me pick a good and dead series, the Shakespeare series, I'll rush to provide? Well, no. Because see, while you're not my BTS and I can't take you for granted, I'm not your BTCH either, and you can't take me for granted. We have, in a way, a relationship, but it's more like courting, where we each have to be sensitive of the feelings of others. For one, for people who want say another Shifter's book now, I can only way right now I'm working on Dark Ship Renegades. Barring cloning, I can only write a book at a time. Lately I've found myself in the opposition of not being able to post on FB when I am cleaning, which is actually relevant, as I'm away from computer, and can't answer messages or pokes, or if I'm engaged in some non-writing project, because people will yell at me and tell me my job is writing. Yes, I know what happened to George R.R. Martin and his post about doing something fun, which occasioned Neil Gaiman's George R.R. Martin is not your BTCH post, to which this one is a no, but response. No, but, as a reader, I imagine the resentment they must feel. The new electronic communications has linked readers and writers in a way that gives both very odd ideas about the other. I can imagine people who subscribe to my Facebook page to hear about the next book being frustrated when I talk about kids and cats. Why is she doing this? Why is she not writing? I can understand it. They shouldn't take me for granted, but neither should I take them. So, instead I'm going to explain. Lately I've come to think of my books as pieces of myself. It's not far off. In fact, reading other authors' books I can sometimes get the almost physical sense of a piece of their mind, their emotions, their personality torn from them and put on the pages. For the purpose of the analogy, these pieces regrow. Also for the purpose of this analogy, when one has been on a killing schedule for a while, and the pace of killing schedules varies per author. For some 1 or 2 books a year is a killing schedule, there is no time for the pieces to regrow, and you start filling the books with parts that are vital. This is often the author's best work. It is also unsustainable. Keep it up long enough and you'll be empty, and a great silence will come that can be broken. Fortunately, this is not very common. More common are writers who go silent for a month or a year, and then start writing again. And each of us has a different way of refilling the bucket. My friend Chris McMahon has a great running analogy for this over at Mad Genius Club yesterday. My favorite way, when money and time permit, is to go to Denver with Dan and the kids, and spend 3 days bumming around mini golf courses, museums and diners, or occasionally hiking, and reading voraciously. I usually buy 50 or so books at the beginning of those vacations, and have finished by the end. Have I mentioned I love my Kindle? That hasn't happened in a while, which, yes, is an issue right now. Other things I've done include taking art classes, because sometimes my brain spins over the same spot of the plot, and I can neither resolve it nor get past it, and art chases the words away. And sometimes I just put the book down for a week and paint walls or crochet a curtain. The important thing is to allow those pieces to grow back so I can fulfill my unspoken contract with you guys. Because otherwise the contract breaks both ways and no one gets what they want and need. Trust me, I want to write those books as much as you want to read them. If I were enamored of the worlds and characters, I wouldn't have created them to begin with. But writing is not totally an act of will, and sometimes you have to let the subconscious catch up. If you like this content and want to support this channel, the blog, and Sarah's continued writing, please like and subscribe. If you really enjoy the content, please come and join the fun at accordingtohoyt.com.